Incredibly special show today. For the first time ever, we have two of the greatest professional football players of all time right here in this studio, Dick Butkus and Deacon Jones. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Thanks for having us, Doc.
Yeah. Now, you know, I've known Dick for over a decade, and I've known you for half a decade, and the more I know you, the more similar you are. You're both a pain in the butt as patients, that's for sure. No, no, you're almost equal to him as a pain in the butt, but born in the same day, right? Yeah. And you're both Hall of Famers. You were in the Hall of Fame when?
Shoot, 1980.
And Dick?
79.
79. Yeah. And how many people are in the Hall of Fame, like 270?
I think it's about 200 and a little over 200.
Yeah, a little over 200. And yet, that's probably the highest honor you can get. But to me, the greatest honor is you guys, after 30 years, are still considered, Dick, the greatest linebacker ever and the greatest passing rusher ever. What was different about you guys?
We came to play. You know, it's a very simple answer. I mean, we came to play every down. This ain't no hope. This is not, but one thing, we coming after you. And that's the way we played it. And that's the similarity that we have in each other. You know, when I stand on the sideline and watch him play, I mean, it was just great to be able to stand there and watch the guy play, because the guy played with the same attitude, whether it was exhibition or whether it was a regular season game.
Yeah, but you guys, I mean, people have said you guys are kind of outliers, like you're genetically different than other people because you're athletic talents, but there's so many gifted athletes out there, and yet you guys are still considered better than people, tens of thousands of athletes after you. So was it your attitude also? I mean, you had to have this meanness to you, to put it lightly.
I mean, I think that comes along with playing on defense. I really believe there's a difference between a guy that plays on offense and a guy that plays on defense. The guys on defense are a little bit more aggressive. You know, you'd love to have a guy with the mentality of a defensive player playing on your offensive line. And I think nowadays they try to do that. So saying that, it's just, I think it's a different cat, man, like guys are on defense, because it's like all against one. He's trying to get to the passer every time. There's a number of guys that's going to try to prevent him, and I'm trying to make the tackle wherever it is on the field, and there's guys coming after me.
I'm thinking about the Pro Bowl and the commissioner. The commissioner's last statement was, if the guys don't want to play the Pro Bowl, then he's going to cut it out. Okay, now you wouldn't have had that problem.
With you guys?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't, because every time the uniform goes on, then we expect to play. We expect to play and play the same tempo, not just go out there because one thing is different. You're in an all-star game. Okay, we're in a football game. And I think that approach to it makes it different for us. I mean, and that's the way we would approach it, no matter how much money was involved.
Now, you guys, like when you tackled somebody, you just didn't tackle him. You kind of twisted him in half and turned him. You did this like little extra step to. Was that to kind of like get him out of the game permanently, or just to?
No, I just.
Because you loved him?
When I played high school, I was a fullback and linebacker, and I just took whatever bothered me as a running back.
Oh,
and what bothered me as a running back would be getting hit high and almost like a bear hug, and really it prevents your arms from breaking the fall. And all that is geared to is somewhere along the line, the ball carrier is going to forget about holding the ball and protecting himself.
Yeah. So that
if you hit them
twist that you did
if you hit them hard enough and you twist them up a little bit, they're going to forget about the ball, and then you get a turnover.
Now, Deacon, you had some unique thing called the head slap. Now, what was that all about?
Well, it was something that I'm probably not as proud as I once was about it, because it does affect one's long-term existence. I mean, it was a straight lick upside your head, and I mean, that lick, if not covered properly, can extend the long-term damage. And I'm not too proud of that. You know, not that I wouldn't do it the same way again. It's not, I just don't know if it fits. I really don't.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not a nice guy.
Yeah,
don't by
geez,
no means.
coming
Hell,
from you,
I don't want you to-
feeling sorry for this.
This is amazing. I'm
Yeah,
shocked.
this is
But it
This is
is.
a news release
It's kind
here.
of on my conscience. I mean,
Oh,
again,
stop.
it's got on my conscience, and you know.
The only reason it's on your conscience is because they made it illegal. So come on.
See,
Okay,
You
so it became
started
a,
it, take
See-
credit for it.
Yeah,
That's
see.
the way I look at it. Quit denying it.
And I do.
You're living in
I
denial.
swear to God, I'm not denying it. You know, but it does.
Jeez.
It does make you think a little bit. I mean, you know, I couldn't have hurt all these people. I couldn't have. Don't hold me responsible for the tap upside the head, because it was a tap.
Look at their head. Look at your hands.
I know.
Look at your fingers. What the heck? They're all going in different directions.
In my pocket.
When you point, it's like, where does he mean? It's all over the place. Yeah.
So that's a good point. I guess I got to live with that one. I walked into that.
so the head slap is history. What about, why did they call you the Secretary of Defense? Where
Well,
did
because we needed titles to kind of move us around on the pay page. I mean, you got to understand, when we came up in the league, and I came up a little bit before Dick, but we wasn't. Defensive football was not paid for as offensive football was during that time.
I mean, your salary was less?
And salary was completely different. I mean, they wasn't there.
It's not
I mean,
as much as you're
cheated
getting.
us.
It's
They
not as
just-
much as you're getting today to come on the show,
Oh,
right?
they just cheated us. No.
No, there's a similarity. We are getting cheated.
Yeah, right.
Coming on the show. Yeah, there's a great similarity here.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have Doc have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, well, you know, 'cause just in case we need a
There's
little bit of
another
Medicare.
award for for being away from his own show award.
Now, Dick, you were called the meanest guy in football.
And he was.
Did he deserve that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely he did.
This nice guy?
Yeah, well, you have to play that way. You have to
I'm
have that
telling you,
attitude.
he was not. You did not mess with Dick Butkus. I mean, and that's what I told you earlier. We loved watching him stand on the sideline and watching him do his thing. I mean, because the guy was different. He was different.
He's different. You're right about that.
Any coach would tell you, I'd take Butkus on my team. You know, you start with him. I mean, because he could play. Number one, he could play, at the attitude. That attitude is something that, you just don't get. You're not born with it, you know.
Do you think your intimidation played a big factor? I mean, we used to always say he grinds his teeth. What do you always say about him? He grinds his teeth or grumbles or mumbles?
Well, no, when we did the light beer commercials.
Yeah.
And you probably shouldn't say this in front of you. You're a doctor. You probably shouldn't say.
Yeah,
No,
well,
don't
light
say
beer.
it, but
Light beer
you
commercial.
say it anyway.
But anyway,
it's
I'll
better
say it. Dick still had the attitude. He carried it into his life of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
That same attitude. I mean, he never could shake it. That's how he played it. I mean, that's how he thought about it. I mean, I respect that. I respect that. I really do, because that's what that made him different than the average guy. It really did make him different. And any coach will tell you, and especially he had at one time had George Allen, who coached us both. And he loved to watch Dick work, because that's the attitude he wanted from all his defensive players. But you can't get that attitude from all the defensive players, because most of them don't want to give it up that way.
But you had that attitude too. I don't know. I mean, he was the meanest. You were probably
Oh yeah.
the mini meanest. You were the second meanest.
I came to play, and I appreciated his sacrifices to the game, and that's what made all of us different than one of them. His bad team, if he talked about his bear team, I mean, you'd hear him talk the same kind of talk because they had the same kind of attitude. Because I played with several of them on the Ram team, and you got to understand, a guy like Bill George and those guys, Joe Fortunato, those guys could play. And I mean, they didn't have no tremendous speed, and they wasn't this or that. But when they came to get you,
they got you.
Believe me, they came to get you.
What do you think about the maybe we kind of talked about a little bit, the stuff with the Saints and everything, and the coach giving them bonuses for knocking people out? I mean, how do you play and not go full bore? Is there really a difference what they do now than what you guys did? I mean, you didn't hold back ever, right?
No.
No, I just think it's the attitude of the players today that they have to do something like that. I mean, if you were to ask us that same question about the bounty, I'd say, well, we did it for free. You didn't have to pay us because that was your job to do that.
No.
But I think the attitude of the players today, it's, can you imagine that the money that they're making compared to guys in our era? It's not even close. So isn't that enough of an incentive? Apparently it's not. You got to have, here I'm $1 million linebacker and I'm going to knock some guy out for $10,000.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll do it for free.
Yeah, that don't make sense. I mean,
it's a different attitude now.
Yeah, if you're going to take the bribe, you understand, take a bribe. You understand what I mean? If you're going to be, because we don't need no incentive if your number is called.
Right.
Okay, and you done something to one of our players, we're coming after you anyway. And they ain't got nothing to do with no money.
It was just inherent in your nature.
Well, you're going down.
We used to look, and these are the guys like he's talking about, Bill George, Fortunate, all the guys before me, 63 championship team. But we used to watch game film. If there was a guy like Monty Stickles, notoriously kind of a cheap shot guy, somewhere along the line, someone would say, okay, just keep a lookout for him. And then you see the game films and there's what happened to him? And that was it. And I'm sure you had the same thing.
Oh yeah, the guy
you wouldn't do those things that they do today.
Did they do that to your knees? I mean, were you?
No.
Well, when I was
when you were injured, did they go to your
absolutely.
knees? I mean, did they try and knock out your knees?
Absolutely.
I mean, but now when you do that, understand one thing. You're gonna have to pay back with knees.
Yeah.
See, you gonna pay, and you're going to pay back with the sacrifice of your knees.
How come you never got hurt?
Well, because I mean, number one, I stayed out the way of it. That's number one.
Is it the position or the way you played the game, or?
No, I think it was the way I attacked the game. I didn't, and then, you have to have a little luck going for you. Yeah. I didn't. I never let myself get in certain positions. My legs were constantly moving. And it kept my cleats from sticking in the ground because, as you know, we wore a different kind of cleat. The cleat was longer. And so I mean, these little things may have helped me a little bit, not that much. But I'm not going to take too much. I'm not going to allow you too much latitude.
You came up with the term sacks. I thought that was a name from forever. Where'd you come up with the quarterback?
Well, it was because we did not have no way of identifying what we did for a living, and that's much needed in the NFL. The NFL is a business, is a super business, and each area of it has to be identifiable, and to when linemen wasn't getting paid properly or making any money, it was because there was no way to identify what we did for a living.
I see. So
you understand what I mean? So sack, for whatever it may have meant, it come out to me as a term that needed to be structured and placed into the game so we can get paid.
Oh,
you understand?
So it was a marker for your success in a way.
Absolutely.
And Dick, what was your mark? You had tackles.
Well,
you had 1,000 tackles or something. Right?
Yeah, well, they would count linebackers for total tackles and fumble recoveries and fumbles caused. But I think Deke is right. It's almost like baseball. You know, everything is statistics with baseball, and they tried to do that with football. Yards after a catch and after a hit, and they got all of them now, all kinds of stats.
And we wasn't getting paid. I mean, it's so many people don't understand. They think that because the league was making X amount of money, that we made X amount of money, but we were not getting paid. and let me tell you, it hurt. It hurt to look at certain contracts, and some of the guys who were making money had no real right to make no money. They shouldn't even been in the league.
So when you guys went into you don't have to tell me, but did the Miller Beer commercials pay better than football?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, we made much more money like beer commercials than we did in the actual game, because we played for two cheap franchises. Papa Bear was cheap. Papa Bear was cheap. You gotta understand. When I say cheap,
You mean cheap?
cheap. He wouldn't pay God a prayer.
Now, after that, you had a band called War, one of my favorite bands ever.
Yeah.
And Dick, you had 2 TV shows. What were they? My Three Dads?
My Two Dads?
My Two
Well,
Dads.
I've done a couple of them. Well, that was
And Hang
came
Time?
off of
Hang Time?
yeah, Hang Time. That came off of the commercials, really, because I wanted and thought I was going to get right into coaching, but the Bears had other ideas. They thought they had a.
You actually went to coach?
Huh? I wouldn't do it now, no. But at the beginning, I thought I'd get, But they claimed that if I didn't play, I wouldn't get paid, and so for 2 years it froze me. So then the Miller Lite stuff started, and then the next thing you know, I started coming out to LA, and I've been in SAG now for 36 years.
Yeah, I didn't know you wanted to coach, though. That's something that.
In fact, George Allen wanted. I was going to go with him in Long Beach.
Oh,
here.
yeah?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So the meanest guy in football had a TV show with kids.
Yeah.
How do you figure?
Oh, yeah, he had. Well, he wasn't as mean as you may have thought he was.
Geez, come on. That's just like, is this guy a doctor hosting a show?
Yeah.
Like, what?
How did he get in this
Yeah,
business?
What is he really good at?
No, I'm just trying to figure it out here.
There's a big power surge. All his patients turn the show off.
Big power surge.
Let me ask you this. As I see the similarity, you guys both got into philanthropy afterwards. Deacon, you have a foundation. What is your?
Well, we try to give, to the cause. I mean, the cause is, these youngsters. There's so many youngsters out here that needs attention, that it is scary sometimes, because it gets to the point where you don't think you're making any progress. I know that's the way I feel. I mean, I'm sure Dick probably feels the same way at times. It gets to be a load. It gets to be a load, and because you're not getting support from nowhere but wherever you go raise it. Mm-hmm. In other words, my biggest problem with what I do is unaware mothers. I mean, mothers who don't know where the husband is, and the husband is, either in jail or there's no leadership within the structure of the family, so the mother gets all that responsibility dumped on her. Well, that's the hardest part of this whole thing, and is doing that and having the time to do it, because you also have to raise the money.
So that's what your foundation does, raise the money for that.
Yeah, for inner city kids.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do.
No way.
I mean, sometimes it just gets to the point where you just want to pull your hair out.
Don't do that.
No, well, I ain't got too much left anyway. But.
Now, Dick, you have some philanthropic efforts. One is.
Well, I just because football was good to me, I just feel that it's time to give back. So about 6 years ago, my son Matt and we came up with this I Play Clean campaign where, we heard about steroids reaching down into the high school levels, and Met a couple parents that their sons and daughters commit suicide, and that's when we came to you and you did some scans of some of these people that bodybuilders, whatever types that were on steroids, and there was a health problem, and still to this day there's well over 400,000 kids admitting that they've taken steroids, and a third of the new users are girls. And what really...
And that's a shocker.
Yeah, well...
That's a shocker.
It's, the cut look and all that stuff. But, what really the number we looked at was the 82 to 85% of the kids that claim they've never been told anything about the dangers. So what I Play Clean is really an effort to educate high school kids, their parents and coaches, to the dangers of using steroids.
Now you also you do raise a lot of money for the military. You've done a lot of military benefits.
That's, I guess, that's in conjunction with our wellness center over here at St. Joseph's. We got a wellness center with an EBT scanner that I think Deke had it done, and I had it done. That led to my 5-way bypass. And now we've been approved, we've been approved for the I Play Clean campaign by the NFL and the Hall of Fame group, and the Wellness Center now is where we got we're by the league, we're recommended as one of the places that you can go, a retired player.
Now St. Joseph's Hospital in Orange right here has named their center the Dick Butkus Center for Cardiovascular Wellness and Testing, which is a fantastic honor for a great, nice thing for you to also get your name.
Well, that's super. That really is. I mean, because it's like prostate cancer. There's so many men out there who's afraid of taking the test. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous when you know it'll save your life. Yeah. Why is it hard for you to make your mind up to go in there and take that test? I mean, well, you know it'll save your life.
You know what I've figured, or I thought it was, as a football player, you are catered to in high school, in college, and in pros with the medical people.
Right.
All of a sudden you leave football and you're like, well, I don't need to do this or do that. That's how I discovered, no symptoms at all. And here I required a 5-way bypass. And now we're with this wellness center. We're also going to give, we want people coming back, military people,
right.
Policemen and firemen that are going to be able to get this test for free because of the stressness of their occupations.
So, we're almost out of time, and just one last thing from both of you, you may not want to answer this, is in your careers, is there anything different that you would have done? Would you have been a fullback, or you would have been a coach? You would have
For me, I would have, if I had known at the time, I would have gotten into strength training. It was after I was done and my career was over that I met a guy named Arthur Jones who invented the Nautilus machine. And he told me then, he says, if I would have had you when you were in high school or college, he says they'd have to bar you from playing because I would have weighed about 30 or 40 pounds more, been quicker, and been less susceptible to any knee injuries. So that's probably it. I probably would have strength trained better.
Man, that would have been scary.
Well, I wouldn't change a thing.
Nothing.
Except maybe I'd kill a few more quarterbacks. I mean, that's the only way I look at it. I mean, the game is still a game. I mean, if you love the game, this is how you play the game. I know for a fact how he wouldn't have changed a thing. He would have been after more people. I mean, it's the way the approach is, and what you think about your performance, and how you reach that inner goal that you have in your mind, which is, hey man, I want to be the best at what I do, and what I do is I destroy quarterbacks. Now, if you want to get in the way of that, you're gonna be destroyed. As simple as that.
Well, thank you guys very much. It's really, you guys have been, you're American legends. I mean, I hate to tell you that, but you really are. And even you go to a football
Why does
field.
that hurt?
You go to a high school today, and they want to be Dick Butkus or Deacon Jones. That's what they want to be. Even
Smart kids, then.
smart
you
kids.
know?
And you guys have given a lot to the country and a lot back in so many different ways during your career and after your career. And we really appreciate everything you've done.
I just hope some of it works. I really do. I hope that we touch the heart and soul of somebody, and because hey man, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. It's not easy. Everybody wants to do this. See, everybody wants to play this game. They don't give it no thought about how difficult this game is to play, you know. And it really is difficult. It's not something that you might want to, you know, ask your kid to play.
Yeah.
You might not want to do that. I mean, at least I wouldn't.
You guys are remarkable. Thanks so much for coming. We had it was
Well,
it was
thanks for
fun.
having us, Doc.
Yeah. Geez, I'm glad we got a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
To start, I was beginning to wonder.
Before I have to get the hook out. Thank you for joining us. Learn more about your health and wellness at drsantora.com. Click on Watch Videos to view segments on many of the health topics that matter most to you.